Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. All right, so I hit my target of .294 this weekend. We got a pretty huge dump to the downside. I think in my last video we were somewhere like right here, and now we were looking at this little rising wedge pattern kind of something. We had resistance, support, support. We broke that support line going to the downside. In the last video I talked about how we needed to break above this 38% level to keep going up. We got rejected at these levels and we started heading down. Once we broke this resistance going to the downside, I was talking about this target, this limit order that I had at .294. We came down, hit that target, and continued to drop down. I was talking about in my last video too, if we break this trend line, if we break this Fibonacci retracement level going to the downside, the next spot that I'm be looking at is .248 right here, which would have been the next target. And I actually did put a limit order once we started dropping below this Fibonacci retracement level. I put another limit order down here, and I bought up this spot down there. I messed that up. Okay, let's get rid of that and bring back that target. Okay, so this was the next spot that I was looking at. This is the next limit order that I was looking at once we broke .294, maybe around, I think it was .248 is where I put my limit order, and we might even go further down than that, but let's see what happens. It almost seems like we're getting a bounce right here. Let's see if we could bounce on that and start bouncing to the upside. Maybe we could start trading in between these two Fibonacci retracement levels. If you're new here, here's how I'm getting these levels. We had a big, huge run going to the upside. Let's see. We had a big, huge run right here. We started having trouble. At this point, this is when I set up the Fibonacci retracement levels. We got the Fibonacci retracement tool. We drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run. That gives me those levels that I'm watching, that I'm buying back, or dollar cost averaging back in 23, 38, 50, 61. So yeah, I bought up these levels going to the downside, and I've been trying to trade them. I talk about on my channel that when we break below them or when we break above them, we could look to the next one going either way. So right here, we broke below this one, boom. Now we're looking at the next one going to the downside. We filled that limit order. I'm kind of curious if we're going to get a bounce right here. The other thing I was looking at is, let's go ahead and, okay, so I hit my limit order, boom. Let's see, I got a position right here at .248 as well. We hit those two targets. The other thing I was looking at though, if we switch over the daily time frame, let me show you this little channel pattern that it looks like we're kind of in right now. Let's go ahead and delete this. We already kind of dealt with those, or we already kind of did that. Let's go ahead and delete those ones. Those are the two levels that I bought. Okay, so we have resistance, support. It looks like we might be getting support right here. Basically, we have these two trend lines. We have this top resistance, and then we have this bottom support. It looks like we might be holding support on this level. I'm wondering if we're going to come down, hold support right here, and then get a bounce up and maybe come back up to this level, but I'm not 100% sure. We did break that going to the downside, and it looks like we're testing it. Let's see if we can hold right here or if we break through it. I think if we break through it, just like I was talking about, if we break .248, let's see. So we have this, what is it, the 61%? We have this 61% right here. If we break this one going to the downside, the next one that I'll be looking at is .18 or .184 approximately, which is the 78% level. So yeah, let's see if we can hold support right here and get a bounce. I just bought, like I said, I bought at .248. Let's see if we could bounce right here, start maybe doing something like this, maybe even something like this. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to dollar cost average. I'm trying to accumulate Dogecoin ever since I took profits at around here. I think we're down like around almost 50% since I sold, like 44 or something was when I last checked. So yeah, just trying to accumulate Dogecoin now that it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Let's see how far it goes down, and let's see where we can bounce back to the upside. from the top, okay, let's do another thing though. From the top to the bottom, something like this. This is like around 46% at this point. Well, not from the top, but from these bodies. Let's see, from here to here. That's around 50% down, or 50% to the downside. What I was gonna say is, crypto does that. We have these big, huge runs, and then it'll dump 50%, and then it'll start moving back up to. I mean, I'm not saying that's exactly what's gonna happen. It could go further down, but it's not like a lot of the times we get 50% retracements or corrections, and then we go to. And then then it starts bouncing back to the upside. But so this might just be an opportunity. I don't know. This is just what I'm doing. It might go further down. So and like I said, I sold somewhere up here, so I want to try to accumulate now that it's getting cheaper. It might go down further though. So let's see what happens. We do have support. Let's see if this support line comes in handy and it bounces to the upside from here. If it breaks this trend line going to the downside, then we might be looking at lower levels. If we break this .248, then the next spot that I'll be looking at, like I was saying, is .184. If we break that one, continuing going to the downside, I mean the bottom is around .10 cents. The other thing that I was looking at real quick, I know my chart's kind of a mess right now. Let's see. The other thing I was looking at is this white line right here. So we have this white line right here. This is the previous top over here. Last year we had a nice little run to the upside. We retraced all the way down, and then we started heading up. My point is this was the previous top, this white line. I'm very curious. I was very curious. Now, okay, so this was big resistance back here. A lot of the times when we break resistance going to the upside, this resistance can turn into support once we're on top of it. So right now we are on top of that white line. Let's see if this can also hold support and bounce to the upside, where this resistance, the previous resistance, will now turn into support. I'm just kind of curious about that. The white line is The white line or previous top is sitting at around .229. So I'm very curious how that's going to play out. Yeah, cheaper Dogecoin in my opinion. I'm not panicking. I'm just, trying to find limit orders. I had some extra cash flow laying around in Coinbase, so I put it so we hit this limit order, and I was like, oh, it's still going down, and I was like, oh, I still have some money in Coinbase. I'm gonna put a limit order at .248. We continued to head down. We hit that second target, and I'm just hoping that we can get a bounce now. If we continue to go down, I'm just gonna continue to accumulate. I mean, .184 is the next place that I'll probably accumulate. If we continue to go down, I'm gonna probably go heavy. If we go down here, you know what I mean? If we go down to like 10 cents. I'm probably going to continue to just dollar cost average. That's just what I'm doing, though. Don't follow me, or I don't know. You have to make up your own mind, like figure out what you want to do. But that's just what I'm thinking. I am very curious about this channel pattern, though. It does look like we have a little falling channel, something like this. Let's see if we can continue to. Let's see if this trend continues of where we get support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance kind of thing. Right now, we're sitting at that support line. I'm kind of curious if we're going to bounce to the upside. Let's go into like the 1 hour time frame, because this is another thing that I was looking at. Okay, so let's see, or maybe the 4 hour time frame. Let's look at the 4 hour. One thing I was going to say is one thing we have to do is break some of these downtrends, because we have this is another thing I was looking at: resistance, something like that. Let's go ahead and draw a downtrend like this. And then we also have, if we zoom in a little bit more, we have resistance, something like this. Another downtrend, maybe I would say something like that. Basically, we have to break these downtrends going to the upside before we can start getting more bullish. So, like I was saying, maybe we'll hold support right here and kind of go sideways and then break this trend line going to the upside. If we could break this trend line going up, then we can start getting more bullish. Even if we just do this, I wouldn't care. Even if we could just bounce in between these two trend lines like we did in this area, This is also why I watch these Fibonacci retracement levels, because you can buy them, sell them, buy them, sell them, buy them, and maybe we'll do something like that here where we can buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it. I don't know, you know what I mean? Let's see how, I mean, let's see if that kind of plays out or if it just continues to go to the downside. But basically, I think we need to break this downtrend before we can start getting more bullish. And until it does break the downtrend, maybe it could go further down. But let's see. I'm gonna be looking at this trend line right here, and then the next one that we have, like I was talking about, is we have this trend line going to the downside as well. We're gonna need to break this one if we want to start coming up back up to like .378 or .394, whatever. You know what I mean? Those are some of the signals I'll be looking for, is to be breaking these trend lines. And let's see if we can hold support on these Fibonacci retracement levels. Let's see if we can hold support right here. I think that about does it. Let's go to the daily time frame. I don't know. Things look pretty crazy. I mean, not crazy, but that big red candle is pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and delete these trend lines real quick, just so we can get a clear look at the price. Let's even delete these ones just to get it. You know, let's just delete everything. Might as well. Okay, so let's look at the 9 moving average. Just like I was talking about in my last video, guys, we have this blue line right here, this 9 moving average. Sorry, something like this. When we break, okay, so the way I look at these, they're like signals, or this is like an indicator of how, I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my words here. When we break above this blue line right here, so we have this blue line, right? When we break above it, we get support on it and push to the upside. When we break below it, it gives us resistance and it pushes to the downside. Or actually, this is a good example right here. We come into contact with it, resistance, 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 pushes us to the downside. As long as the price is underneath the 9 moving average, then there's potential for momentum to go to the downside. What I want to see the 9 moving average do is come down. I want to see us go sideways. I want to see the 9 moving average come down and us break through it going sideways. It looks like we still have, I mean, it looks like it's kind of far. I mean, it's kind of far away. It's way up here and we're down here. I want to see that 9 moving average come closer so we can go through it going sideways. I'm basically, as long as we're underneath the 9 moving average, we could be going down further. I think we are kind of far away from it, so let's see what happens. Let's see. Let's go to the monthly time frame. Okay, so that is where we got support on it, actually. Because, or that's where we're getting a little bit of support. We have the 9 moving average on the monthly time frame right here, this blue line. We came down. That's where we kind of got a bounce right there. Came down. So we are on top of the monthly 9 moving average. But if we break below this, like I was saying, if we break below the 9 moving average, then it's not good. Once we break above it, that was good. Now we're testing going to the downside. So I don't know. Let's see what else. Weekly time frame, under the weekly 9 moving average, this blue line right here, we broke below it. Ever since then, resistance, 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 pushing us to the downside. I think this one looks like it's pretty clear. If you want to look at this, as far as the 9 moving average, is the weekly time frame. We have this blue line. We broke below right here. Resistance, 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 pushing us to the downside. What we want to see it do is, what we want to see the 9 moving average do is come. We want to go sideways for a little bit, let the 9 moving average catch up to us, come down a little bit, and then break through it going sideways, as opposed to trying to come up and break through it like a roof. The analogy I like to use is it's like a roof right now. What we want it to do is come down and be like a wall, so we can break through it going sideways instead of having to break through it going to the upside, if that makes sense. That's just kind of like a little analogy I use, I kind of thought of. But yeah, let's see. Back to the daily time frame. We have this downtrend right here, and I think we need to break that downtrend, at least going to the upside. There's another one like right here as well on the 1 hour time frame. It's something like this. Let's see, something like this, and we need to break both of these trends to the upside if we really want to start getting bullish. But look at where it's kind of holding support right at that or it looks like we might be getting a bounce right at that .248 level. Like I said, I bought here and I bought here since the last time we talked. Or I mentioned it in my last video though. I had a limit order at .294 to buy, and I was gonna set up a limit order at .248 if we continue to break down. We hit this target, we broke through it going to the downside. I set up that limit order. We hit that one as well. Hopefully we can get a bounce from here and bounce out and start moving back up. I'm not sure there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, tariffs and different things like that. I actually kind of want to make a Canadian dollar versus US dollar video. Maybe I'll do that sometime. But maybe some of that's going on. But, like I was talking about, crypto, it can't run up forever, guys. Like, there has to be winners and losers, guys. We had a big, huge run up, and then it started. And then we needed a correction. It can't go up forever. And in crypto, especially with Dogecoin, this is why I love Dogecoin though, is because we get these huge swings, guys. We get a huge swing up, then a huge swing down, huge swing up, huge swing down. Let's see if we can get that huge swing back to the upside and start going back up. These are some of the levels that I was wanting to get to though, and I wouldn't mind staying down here a little bit longer just to try to accumulate more. In my opinion, this is pretty good price for Dogecoin. It could go even lower though. I mean, we saw it back here. Let's go back to last year's stuff. And if you guys have been following my channel for a while, or like since last year, this is what we were talking about basically all of last year. This was the run from last year. So we had a nice big run, and then we did the same thing. Once we started having trouble, we set up, you do that in general. When it's running and then it starts having trouble and you start going to the downside, you set up the Fibonacci retracement tool. Like I was talking about, you get the Fibonacci retracement tool. You drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, and that gives us those levels to dollar cost average going to the downside, or at least levels to trade into, because like I was talking about earlier, these levels, let me zoom in just to show you how it worked over here too, because these ones acted as support and resistance as well. Let's see, something like this, just to give you a good view. So we came down, held support on that one, got a bounce to the upside, came down, found support, bounced to the upside. Basically, we could have bought, sold, almost bought right there. We could have sold right there, because we bought over here. Let's see. Basically these act as support and resistance, and in different ways. We got support right there, resistance right here. So hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm saying. But we bounce in between these Fibonacci retracement levels, and that's why we use them. We're bouncing, and then once we can actually start going. So we had this big downtrend, right? We actually broke that right here. Once we can start moving up, then all of these positions will start being worth more. I don't know if Dogecoin is ever going to get to $1. I hope so, and that's why I'm kind of dollar cost averaging here on the way down, in hopes that one day it will go to $1. In the meantime, I'm going to trade off these Fibonacci retracement levels. As a whole, these positions that I set up are definitely down, you know what I mean? But I have accumulated more Dogecoin. Like I said, if I would have just held right here, because like I was saying, I'd been trading, I'd been accumulating all in this area. We got a nice move up. I wanted to lock in some profits when we started to have trouble and not push to the upside, because I thought we were going to push higher. Once we didn't start pushing higher, then I was like, okay, then maybe we are going to start going to the downside. I set up the Fibonacci retracement levels like I was talking about and started dollar cost averaging. I took profits somewhere around here. But basically, I think we're down like 44%, like I was saying, from where I sold or took profits. Should I say? I didn't sell. I still had some on Ledger that I'm going to hold until like I get to $1, or until it gets to $1 potentially, just for long term, basically. But where was I going with that? So we took profits here, and then dollar cost average on the way down just to get cheaper Dogecoin. Like I was saying, let's see how far it goes to the downside. It's cheaper Dogecoin right now. I'm trying to accumulate more. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that I don't mind if we go lower. That's just cheaper Dogecoin. The cheaper the Dogecoin, the bigger the Dogecoin position you can start to accumulate, in my opinion. But yeah, I think we have this downtrend right here. Let's see if we could break that going to the upside. If we do, like, let's say we hold support on .248 and we start to, let's say we hold support on .248, this Fibonacci retracement level, and we start to bounce to the upside. The target going to the upside, like let's say we break this trend line going up, the target going up would probably be right here at around .293. Like I was saying, when we break below them, and we come back up to it, or earlier I was saying, okay, so previous resistance turns into support, and previous support turns into resistance. So we broke below this support going to the downside. It wasn't really support, but it is a Fibonacci retracement level. Now that we're going up, it might act as resistance. So this might be the next target if we can start going to the upside. Like I was talking about, I like trading them, something like this. A lot of times it does stuff like that, or it'll go boom, 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 or even boom, boom, something like that. We'll have to wait and see though. It's, like I said, I bought here. This is where my money was, both of these spots. If it goes down, my money is going to be here, and I'm going to hold all these positions and just wait until it goes back to the upside. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to trade each little position, something like this. So from here to here, that's going to be, let's see if we can get from here to here. That is a good 18%. Nothing to scoff at. You know what I mean? If we could bounce from there to there, that's 8%, 18%. But if we go down further, it's going to be all these positions that I've been accumulating up here is going to be worth less, but it's okay. Just trying to accumulate more Dogecoin like I've been talking about. Hopefully that makes sense. Pretty crazy weekend, guys. We got some big red candles on the daily time frame. Let's see, something like this. We got some big red candles. Let's see if we can get support and start bouncing back to the upside, or if we continue to go down. I don't really care either way. I think when it's going down, it's a good time to accumulate. When it's going up, it's a good time to take profits, like I did right here. Took profits to the downside. Hopefully I explained everything the way I wanted it to, but kind of tired. I have to go to work now. If you guys want to support the channel, you guys should become members. That'd be cool. I think it's like $3 or $5, or I don't know what it is, but that'd be cool. If you guys aren't subscribed, you guys should hit subscribe button. We're almost at 10K subscribers. That'd be sick too. If you guys liked the video, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to watch the last video, check it out right here where I talked about these targets. And if you're new to trading, check out this playlist right here. I'll help get you started with TradingView and looking at charts. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck, guys.